Did you know that you could be unknowingly harming your health? Most of us think aging is something out of our control, something embedded in our DNA and sealed by time. But the truth is, how we age and how long we live depend more on our daily habits than we'd like to admit. In fact, many people are unknowingly shaving off precious years with choices that seem harmless in the moment. These aren't just bad habits. They're silent thieves, slowly robbing us of vitality, clarity, and time. Here's the thing. Most of these habits don't show up dramatically. There's no warning siren, no pain, no major event. But over the years, they quietly pile up until the damage is hard to reverse. In this video, we'll explore 5 habits that can dramatically shorten your lifespan, saving the most surprising one for last. You may recognize some of these habits in yourself or someone you love. If you do, don't be discouraged. The goal of this video is not to scare you but to gently highlight patterns we often ignore, while offering simple, realistic steps to turn things around. So, if you want to protect your mind, your body, and your time on this earth, or simply want to feel better as you age, stay with us. This might be the most valuable 10 minutes of your day. Let's begin. Number 1. Chronic sleep deprivation. There's something almost noble about staying busy, pushing through fatigue, and getting things done no matter how tired you are. But what many people don't realize is that regularly cutting your sleep short is like running your body on borrowed time, with a heavy interest. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. It's when your brain takes out the trash, your heart slows down to recover, and your cells do their nightly maintenance. Skipping sleep, even just an hour or two a night, chips away at your mental clarity, your immune system, and your heart health. Over time, this raises your risk of stroke, memory loss, diabetes, and even early death. The problem is, sleep deprivation rarely feels urgent. You might feel a bit foggy, a little more irritable, but you can still function. That's what makes it so dangerous. It gives you the illusion of normality while your body quietly deteriorates. Sleep is when your brain consolidates memories and clears out waste that builds up during the day. Without enough sleep, those toxins accumulate, affecting not just your mind but also your mood and decision-making. You might snap at loved ones, forget appointments, or struggle with focus. Days blur together, and you become reactive instead of thoughtful. Let's talk about David, a 72-year-old retired school principal who used to brag about getting by on just 5 hours of sleep. He thought it gave him more time to enjoy his hobbies, stay active, and keep up with friends. But by his mid-70s, he noticed a steady decline in his balance, memory, and mood. After a visit to his doctor, he was shocked to learn how his chronic sleep deprivation was accelerating his aging process. Once he made sleep a priority, setting a bedtime routine, avoiding screens before bed, and sticking to a schedule, he felt sharper and calmer within weeks. His relationships improved, he felt 10 years younger, and he realized that true freedom doesn't come from doing more, but from honoring what your body truly needs. If you've been treating sleep like an optional luxury, it's time to reconsider. Rest isn't a break from life, it's the foundation of it. Number 2. Constant low-grade stress. Some people believe that if they're not having panic attacks or breaking down in tears, they're handling stress just fine. But stress isn't always loud. In fact, the most dangerous kind is often the quietest, the kind that hums beneath the surface day after day, wearing you down without you even noticing. It's the small things, worrying about finances, feeling unappreciated, holding on to resentment, or pushing through exhaustion with a forced smile. This slow burn of emotional tension doesn't just affect your mood. It floods your system with cortisol, inflames your blood vessels, raises your blood pressure, and weakens your immune response. This is how stress quietly contributes to heart disease, autoimmune disorders, and even certain cancers. You might not feel it building, but your body does. When your shoulders stay tight, your stomach is knotted, and your breath never truly deepens, your body is stuck in survival mode. Over time, your systems become less efficient. Your digestion suffers, Your sleep becomes restless, and your brain stays wired when it should be calm. You start snapping at loved ones, forgetting where you put your keys, feeling tired but restless, present but not truly there. It's like walking through life with a heavy coat you forgot you were wearing, and it doesn't go away with a weekend off. Let me tell you about Linda, a 68-year-old widow who kept herself busy after her husband passed away. She volunteered, helped with her grandkids, attended church, and always wore a smile. But beneath it all, she carried a quiet grief, unspoken worries about her health, and a nagging feeling that she never had time to breathe. It wasn't until a routine checkup showed early signs of heart trouble that her doctor suggested a closer look at her stress levels. Linda started practicing 10 minutes of daily meditation, journaling in the evenings, and saying no to tasks she didn't truly want to do. To her surprise, her energy improved, her relationships felt more honest, and her health stabilized. The weight didn't disappear overnight, but she stopped carrying it alone. Managing stress isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about creating space to feel, to process, and to rest. Sometimes that means asking for help. Sometimes it means forgiving someone who never apologized. And often, it just means sitting still and breathing deeply. These small shifts don't just help you feel better. They help you live longer. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do so and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move on. Number 3. Eating ultra-processed foods. Most people think of food as fuel, and that's true, but not all fuel is created equal. When your diet consists mostly of ultra-processed foods, things like frozen dinners, packaged snacks, sugary cereals, and fast food, you're feeding your body chemicals, preservatives, and empty calories instead of the nutrients it needs to heal and thrive. These foods are often stripped of fiber, packed with additives, and engineered to be addictive. They don't just contribute to weight gain. They trigger inflammation, destabilize your blood sugar, and weaken your gut, which is deeply connected to your immune system, mood, and even brain function. The tricky part is that these foods are convenient, cheap, and often taste good. When you're tired, rushed, or just not in the mood to cook, grabbing a bag of chips or microwaving something feels harmless. But over time, the damage builds. Inflammation becomes chronic, your energy dips, your skin changes, your memory feels duller, and you might chalk it up to age. In reality, your cells are struggling to do their jobs because they're not getting the tools they need. Let me share the story of Carl, a 75-year-old former mechanic who lived alone after his wife passed away. For years, he ate out of cans and boxes, not out of laziness, but because it felt easier and familiar. At first, he didn't notice the changes: a little more joint pain, a little more fatigue, a few extra pounds. But when his blood pressure climbed and his doctor warned him about prediabetes, Carl knew he had to change. He started by replacing his sugary cereal with oatmeal and fruit, swapping soda for water, and cooking one meal a day using real ingredients. Within a few months, not only did he lose weight, but he also noticed clearer thinking and steadier moods. The kitchen became a place of healing, not just eating. We often think that eating well means giving up joy, but it's the opposite. When your body feels nourished, life becomes lighter, the aches lessen, the fog lifts, and you have more to give to others and more to enjoy for yourself. It's never too late to trade convenience for vitality. A few small changes can restore decades of health that processed foods quietly took away. Number 4. Social isolation. There's a kind of silence louder than noise, the kind that fills a house when no one's called in days, when dinner's eaten alone, and when laughter becomes a memory instead of a sound. Social isolation doesn't just affect your mood, it slowly starves your body and mind of the connection humans are built for. Studies show that loneliness can be as harmful to your health as smoking or obesity. It raises your risk of heart disease, cognitive decline, and early death. The problem is, it doesn't always look like loneliness. Sometimes it looks like independence, keeping to yourself so you're not a burden. There's a difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude can be peaceful and nourishing, especially when it's chosen, but isolation creeps in when connections fade and routines become rigid. Maybe your children moved away, maybe your spouse passed on, maybe health issues make it harder to get out. The reasons are understandable, but the impact is the same. Your brain needs stimulation, your heart needs laughter, and your body thrives on affection, even if it's just a hand on your shoulder or someone remembering your name. Let's talk about Ella Laner, an 80-year-old woman who lived in the same house for over 50 years. After her husband died and her friends grew fewer, she spent most of her days in front of the TV. She told herself she was fine, that she liked the quiet. But deep down, she missed conversation. She missed being needed. Her doctor noticed changes: slower speech, more confusion, and signs of depression. At her daughter's urging, Ella Laner started attending a local senior center once a week. At first, she resisted, didn't want to be seen as someone who needed help. But once she started going, everything changed. She made new friends, laughed again, and her energy returned. Here's the truth: relationships are medicine. Community is as vital as vitamins, and being seen, heard, and loved adds years, not just to your life, but to your spirit. You don't need dozens of friends or constant company. Just one person who knows your story and cares about your day can make all the difference. If you pulled away from people, whether out of pride, habit, or fear, it's never too late to reach out. Call someone, write a letter, invite a neighbor for coffee. Open the door to connection, because the heart, just like the body, needs regular care, and it heals faster in the presence of others. Number 5. Always holding it in, emotions or urine. This might surprise you, not just because it's rarely talked about, but because it affects more people than you might think. Many people, especially as they age, get into the habit of holding things in, not just emotions, but literally holding in their urine. Whether it's because they don't want to be a bother, think they can wait a little longer, or feel uncomfortable using public restrooms, over time, this habit puts serious strain on the bladder and kidneys, increases the risk of urinary tract infections, and can even contribute to long-term damage in the pelvic floor muscles. What seems like a minor inconvenience adds up, especially when combined with age-related changes in urinary health. But the emotional side of this habit might be even more damaging. Holding in your feelings, whether grief, frustration, sadness, or even joy, creates a kind of inner tension that doesn't go away on its own. Just like pressure builds in a balloon, emotions that aren't expressed find other ways to surface, perhaps through chronic pain, digestive issues, anxiety, or sleep problems. The human body is wise, and it always looks for release. If you don't give it space to speak, it will whisper through symptoms, and eventually, those whispers will get louder. Let me tell you about Walter, a 76-year-old man who prided himself on never complaining. He believed real strength meant staying silent, not burdening others, and toughing things out. For years, he pushed through back pain, ignored signs of depression, and even avoided bathroom breaks during long outings because he didn't want to appear weak. Eventually, the combination of physical strain and emotional suppression led to a hospitalization for a severe urinary tract infection and symptoms of clinical depression. It wasn't until his recovery that Walter realized there's no bravery in pretending you're fine when you're not. True strength lies in listening to your body and respecting your limits. There's an old saying, "What you resist persists," and that's especially true with health. Ignoring signals, whether a full bladder or a full heart, doesn't make you tougher. It makes you more vulnerable. Learning to excuse yourself for a bathroom break, speak up when you need to, or cry when you need to, that's not weakness. That's wisdom. It's the kind of self-respect that adds years to your life and life to your years. Final thoughts. The habits we've talked about today aren't always loud or obvious. They don't make headlines. They don't come with flashing red lights, but they matter. They shape the way we age, how we feel, and ultimately, how much time we get to spend with the people we love and doing the things that matter most. The good news is this: it's never too late to change. You don't need to become a different person overnight. You just need to notice the patterns that are quietly stealing from your future and make a choice, one moment at a time, to do something different. Maybe that means going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it means calling someone you've been missing. Maybe it's swapping a frozen dinner for something fresh or letting yourself cry for the first time in a while. Small things, done regularly, make a bigger difference than grand gestures done once. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about choosing care. Care for your body, care for your mind, care for your time. You've made it this far in the video, which tells me something important. You care about your life. You care about your health. And you're not someone who's just letting the years pass. You want to be here fully, with things to give and memories to make. That's something not everyone can say, and that, my friend, is something to be proud of. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.